JD Vance has a solution for young Americans who are struggling with housing. He says, we flooded the country with 30 million illegal immigrants who are taking houses that ought by right to go to American citizens. Now he has a solution. Which solution is building 5 million new homes and deport 20 million illegals. And if we act faster on this, we will make housing affordable again. He says, when asked about serving under Trump, he says, I serve under Trump, who is very healthy. If I served under Joe Biden, I would probably be worried every minute of every day that he was gonna crack, and that I would have to become president. And he is unapologetic, a Grok guy, is a Grok guy who doesn't rival with Marco Rubio, and just dropped hot fire on radical left Democrats willing to burn the country just to get at Trump. And a brand new memo response aimed at Gavin Newsom. Let's go in now with this first clip here, where JD Vance says, if the last 40 days tell us anything about the radical left Democrats, it's that they are willing to burn the country down just to get President Trump. Troops' salaries, they don't care about the cost so long as it hurts Trump. Let's have this clip.
I do give a lot of credit for the moderate Democrats in the Senate who were with us from the very beginning. Because if you remember the original bill to keep the government open before the shutdown even started, there were 52 GOP senators, 3 Democratic senators. They recognized where this was going. They recognized what was in the best interest of the country. But I think, Sean, there are so many far left people who run the Democratic Party in Washington, D.C., they just want to burn it down. They don't care if the troops don't get paid. They don't care if you cause billions of dollars of lost productivity. They don't care if you shut down the airline industry, which they were very close to doing. They just want to get Trump. And they don't care if they have to burn the entire country down in order to get Trump. That's what they want to do. And I think that it shows how stupid that approach is politically, because normally you would expect the President of the United States to get blamed for a shutdown. The American people were smart enough to recognize that the Democrats were the ones who were sort of holding this hostage. They were saying that unless you give us everything that we want, unless you give us $1.5 trillion of benefits, health care for illegal aliens, we're going to destroy the country. We're going to keep the government shut down indefinitely. I think the president recognized eventually the American people are going to recognize this is the Democrats doing this. The Democrats, I think, made a huge political mistake by continuing to push for all of these crazy things. And they said, if you don't give all these crazy things, we're going to keep the government shut down. It was politically stupid, but you're right. I don't understand the psychology of a Democrat who says, we'd like to burn the country down in order to get Donald Trump. But unfortunately, it just drives home. That's what their party is about.
Yes, you had it right. American people are very smart. And now in this clip, JD Vance says a lot of younger people are saying housing is way too expensive. Why is that? Because we flooded the country with 30 million illegal immigrants who were taking houses that ought by right to go to American citizens. Let's have this clip.
A lot of young people are saying housing is way too expensive. Why is that? Because we flooded the country with 30 million illegal immigrants who were taking houses that ought by right go to American citizens. And at the same time, we weren't building enough new houses to begin with, even for the population that we had.
But is it true when we say that the housing became unaffordable because of the 30 million illegal immigrants? Is it true when we say it that way? That's his take as the president, his own opinion. That's how he sees things. But now in this next clip, JD Vance says, I'm a Grok guy. Let's have it.
Are you as obsessed with AI as I am?
I am.
Okay, I don't know. I'm a Grok guy.
Okay. Me too. I'm a Grok guy.
You're a Grok guy. Okay. Elon, I think it's the best.
I think it's the best. It's also the least woke. I'm always asking myself, if I ask an AI a question, is it going to give me an objective answer?
If the vice president puts it in extreme mode,
answer.
Have you put it in extreme mode just for kicks and giggles? It's a little. Well, if you want,
I have not, Sean. I don't want the media to attack
If you want
me.
to know the neighborhood that Donald Trump grew up in and the kind of language you probably heard every day, you put it in extreme mode. It's pretty funny.
I could tell it's talking like my grandmother, and then we'd be in good shape.
Yes, he is a Grok guy. I'm a Grok guy too. Are you a Grok guy too? Tell me in the comment section. Are you a Grok or you not Grok? And this one, JD Vance says Chuck Schumer likely ended his entire career with his shutdown. He took a massive loss this week. Let's have the clip.
During the process, at any point, did any Democrat, any leader, did you have conversations with them, say, work this out with me? Did that happen behind the scenes that nobody knows about?
Oh, of course. Privately, we were having conversations all the time. And frankly, privately, the Democrats would recognize the position of their far left was crazy. But they all feel a little bit like they're being held hostage by their far left. You said it very well. Chuck Schumer, this probably ended his career, and he was the person who was fighting more than anybody to keep the government shut down. So the far left, they're never going to be satisfied unless the Democrats are willing to burn down the entire country. Luckily, there were a few moderate Democrats who allowed reason to prevail. We have to step back, Sean, and remember how crazy the demands were. They wanted $1.5 trillion, a lot of that healthcare benefits for illegal aliens. They wanted us to undo all of the great border policy that we've been doing. They wanted us to refund, like you said, NPR and PBS. They were basically saying that we want the far left's priorities to dominate in the Trump administration, and unless that happens, we're going to set the entire country on fire. A really disgraceful moment for the far left of the Democrats, and frankly, a very revealing moment for the American people, because what were they asking, Sean? They weren't saying that we want to do great things for the American people. They weren't talking about jobs. They weren't talking about health care. They were talking about give us $1.5 trillion for healthcare benefits for illegal aliens. And unless you do that, we're going to make it impossible for you to fly home to see your family on Thanksgiving. It's just craziness that was ever their position, but it was.
And then this one, when JD Vance was asked about serving under President Donald J. Trump, said, I serve under President Donald J. Trump, who is very healthy. If I served under Joe Biden, I would never be able to sleep. I would always have my phone on as loud as possible. Let's have this clip.
You seem to go with the flow pretty well. Do you have quiet moments? You think about that?
Yeah, honestly, Sean, I try not to. I mean, one, I serve under Donald Trump, who is very healthy.
He casts a pretty big shadow.
He casts a big shadow, but if I served under Joe Biden, I'd probably be worried every minute of every day that he was going to croak and that I'd have to become president. But because I serve a president...
You have a bat phone. Okay,
exactly.
Did it just happen?
Like, I'd never be able to sleep. I'd always have my cell phone as loud as possible. But no, the president, one, you know, he's got a lot of energy. He's extremely healthy. So I don't think about that. Obviously, that's part of the job, is you've got to be ready if tragedies.
And as you know, there is rumor around every corner of the country that JD Vance might run for the presidency in 2028. And when he was asked about that real question about becoming president or running for the president, contesting for the presidency in 2028, he said, we are gonna win the midterms. We are gonna do everything that we can do to win the midterms. And then after that, I'm gonna sit down with the president of the United States of America and talk about it. Me standing for presidency in 2028. Let's have the clip.
I would say that I've thought about what that moment might look like after the midterm elections, sure. But I also, whenever I think about that, I try to put it out of my head and remind myself, the American people elected me to do a job right now. And my job is to do it. And if you start getting distracted and focused on what comes next, I think it actually makes you worse at the job that you have. And here's what will happen. I mean, look, we're very focused on the midterm elections. I think because what the president has set in motion is a long-term economic revitalization effort for this country, I really want us to win the midterms, because if the Democrats get in power, they're going to try to screw up a lot of the great things the president of the United States has done over the past 10 months. Again, trees that have been planted, some of which won't even bear fruit for a few years. I don't want the Democrats to screw that up. So we're going to win the midterms. We're going to do everything that we can to win the midterms. And then after that, I'm going to sit down with the President of the United States and talk to him about it. But let's focus on the now, because we've got well over a year to do as much as we can for the American people. And my attitude, Sean, is, look, if we do a good job, the politics will take care of itself. If we do a terrible job, the politics will take care of itself in the other direction. So I'm just going to focus on the job that I have.
And as we are still talking about 2028, Grok, building more 5 million houses to make housing more affordable, and even Democrats who just want the President Donald J. Trump dead or lose it. And as we're still all talking about that from the Vice President JD Vance, then we will land on this tweet. What percentage of the American population has real Donald Trump sexually assaulted? That's a tweet allegedly from Vice President JD Vance, and it's really making rounds around socials. People saying this tweet is the last time JD Vance had a functioning spine. Oh God. And as we are talking over the functioning spine, there is this new memo that's moving around, rotating around, of JD Vance drop a response to Gavin Newsom in an attempt to smear him. Yeah, that's the clip. As you see it, picks a bucket and smears Gavin Newsom. On X, everywhere, Gavin Newsom really smeared. That's America for you. Affordable housing, deporting 20 million illegal aliens, and putting new facilities, new homes for Americans, 5 million homes, so that will make the housing very affordable for the young generation, for them to acquire homes. And that's a great move. But what I'm still asking, the unaffordability of the US housing was because of the illegal aliens? Because I can remember this started almost in 2012. Yeah, 2012. This is when it started. And now it's just escalating. So where is the real problem? We must find the real problem where it is, and we really find a solution to that real problem instead of pinpointing here and there. But I know everything will be okay. Okay, that's what I had for you today. Next time, don't forget to subscribe. Let's make 100 subscribers. Peace.